We have Dr. Alfred Mutua, the governor of Machakos County, the multilingual governor of Machakos County, is joining us as we allow him to settle down and then start this conversation with him. So we are saying that the national government has pushed that responsibility to the counties and even resource allocated.
I'm not saying they've
them.
given enough money. I said they gave some money to the counties.
For me, why does this have to be a national versus county government?
It's not. No.
Because at
we
every
are making
level,
it
at
county
every level,
versus national.
Yes, why?
But what I'm saying, it isn't. It isn't.
It's a government.
It isn't. Look, county governments are governments, and they have certain responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the pushback will be, or the pushback I hope you to bring up is, why doesn't the national government actually give the county governments the money that they should get? Because then this argument would be quite different. Mm-hmm. There's always a shortfall, and there's always a story, and there's always an argument around it. But I'm talking COVID. Governor.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Alfred Mutua.
You at least welcome the governor, people.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you?
Welcome. You're about to throw a heavy question.
Unajua kuna msimu wa corona, kwa hivyo siku hizi unafanya tu mambo chap.
Yes.
That had to come in.
You have to move.
Okay, so let me be the one to welcome you to the Situation Room, Governor Alfred Mutua.
And I like the way the conversation was going because, when it comes to the issues of coronavirus, there is a point that has been aptly made, and that is counties should not be struggling. They should have gotten the resources allocated to them, which at times they don't get. There should be clear resourcing of counties as per the constitution and the law that is set out in Schedule 2, which has not really happened over time. But however, as been also asked, is that counties also have to be responsible for the decades they get in. Many people have told me, Machakos, you're doing well, and all that. It's because we looked at what was devolved for us and we invested heavily. I mean, Machakos, the only reason Machakos is doing better than others, we now have 463 isolation beds as per last night, is because we started the journey of improving our healthcare as soon as they got in. We got the ambulances, we built the community hospitals so that we could meet the WHO guidelines of 5-10 kilometers. We improved our healthcare. We employed nearly about 1,300 new health workers. So it's a balancing act. It's a national government, but also counties have to pull up their socks when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah, so Governor, in terms of that, how was Machakos able to do that? How were you able to do that? Why did other county governments not do that? Did you have a special allocation, or did you reallocate the county budget?
What I did is that I think it comes back to leadership. I've always believed that everything starts and stops with healthcare, and everything that supports healthcare, including road accidents, are a healthcare issue. So what I did is when I got into Machakos, it was so sad because you could smell the maternity from about 100 to 150 meters. The placentas, the hospitals were dirty. The national government being controlled by Afia House in Nairobi.
It's okay.
Had basically crushed, the hospitals. People are sharing beds, 2 to 3. You find 3 women sharing beds. One is pregnant, one has a funny head disease, another one has a funny wound in their back, sharing beds. So the first thing I did was to say, I'm going to prioritize on healthcare. I made sure that there was no sharing of beds. We cleaned up the hospitals. I'm proud to say that I have the cleanest, I think, public hospitals, if not hospitals basically, across the country. All of them up to the health center. We went in and reorganized how hospitals are run. I immediately employed 800 new nurses, new specialists. I put a large amount of my budget. Actually now, nearly 70% of my wage bill is on healthcare. So it was personal choice that once you take care of healthcare, other things will take care of themselves.
So are you saying, Governor, that the money that was allocated to your county was enough?
It was not enough. It was about taking it away from others. It was about taking it away from others. So I put more money into healthcare, which meant other sectors also suffered.
Yeah.
I wish I'd had more money so that we could balance, but it was a personal choice. You look at what there is on the table, and you decide what are your priorities. My priorities is keeping people alive. When I bought the ambulances, so that now everybody is ferried, so that no woman gives birth on the street no child dies being carried by a mkokoteni or a wheelbarrow, because that is a shame 60 years after independence. I mean, I spent money. I have to spend money keeping that, setting up all these systems, but then I also denied other sectors.
Right.
But had I gotten all the money that I needed to start with, I would be doing much better.
So, Governor, you're saying, number one, counties are not getting enough money to give basic services, and so you prioritized healthcare. Now, in the wake of COVID, those counties that did not make investments, because you are saying you've made investments over the past almost now 7 years,
Yes,
that have made an impact. There are counties that haven't. Maybe counties have spent quite a lot on healthcare. Maybe some don't have as good impactful spending, but they have spent. But what we are saying is, at the point where COVID hit, and national government and county government were discussing the response, was there a conversation about what is needed? You know, because now we are hearing some new parameters being brought up that the counties are the ones in the picture. You know, we'd have expected to hear from the word go that this is the response we need, this is what we expect from the counties. Now, how is this conversation going between national and county?
I think it was very clear. From the very first meeting that we held with the national government, it was very clear that we had a problem in this country, and we were told to do two things. One of them was to set up isolation beds and ICUs, and the second thing was to undertake a massive communication program for our people, teaching them about coronavirus and telling them. So for me, it was very clear. So what I did is that once I realized, and also as leaders, you don't have to wait just for the conversation to come from the national government. I mean, you're reading news, you're seeing what's happening in New York, we're seeing people falling in Italy. You know, for example, I looked at what was happening in Italy. I looked at what was happening in New York in terms of people getting infected. And one thing struck me is that the numbers in New York that were rising because when people are sick, normally, uko na homa, umevunjika mguu, unaumwa na kichwa, you have any other disease, tumbo, likula kitu, your immune system is weak because you are sick from another disease. So it is easier for you to be infected by a virus or a bacteria when your immune system is already compromised by a wound that you already have, ulianguka na gari or whatever. So in New York, when they had all these people with COVID go to hospital, all they did was infect all these people in hospitals with low immunity. All these people are being isolated into hospitals. That is why I chose to have a field hospital away from the main hospital. So I have this Machakos field I made into a hospital because I was thinking through how not to infect my people.
Yep.
So I keep numbers. So I was saying that these are decisions you make as a leader. You look at what is happening in Kenya and you look at what is happening across the country. But the national government has really supported us. They have given us PPEs. They have given us their experts. They have come, they have looked at things, and they have even given us money. Right now I have 188 million shillings as part of that 5 billion that has come to Machakos. And we are getting support into this fight. So that has come.
So what's the bed capacity?
Ready?
Sorry.
So are counties ready? Do you feel counties have... Has the Council of Governors, which is the counties, has the response of counties been collective? Has it been decisive, and are counties ready?
I am disappointed. We've had several sessions with the president, and we were given money. And so you see when you're...
all counties given money?
Yeah, all counties are given money. And so we've been given money, different degrees, depending on population. And so even before the money hits, you can actually procure and pay later. So I can say that I'm a little bit disappointed by the numbers of some counties. I'm happy that quite a number of governors have tried and the systems, but also it's also good to know that this country is also very bureaucratic. The systems that we've set in place are systems that are made to make us fail. We've had a big spat with the control of budget because she came in, the new one. The governors were about to put a resolution and ask the president to fire her. We even were very strong about it. The president heard us and so we told the president, we have a problem now where it has reached, it is up to you. The president said, I'll take care of it. Because what is done is that...
Because of the pending bills.
No, it's not even the pending bills. It's normal. You see the law says the control of budget has to approve payments. So the job of the control budget is to look at, do you have the budget? Did you spend? Okay, approved, paid. And the former controller of budget, she had set up networks whereby even if she was not there, she was taking files at home because she signed everything. And she had put up networks. But this one seemed to have concentrated power upon herself. If she's in a meeting for 2 days, nothing gets
is done for
signed.
2 days.
You have to wait
Nothing
for
is
the 2
signed for
days.
2 to 3 days, you know. And when governors called her,
Unbelievable.
she was not very, very flexible. So maybe she's learning the system, you know. But it became to a place where by now, whatever used to take us 1 week to do is taking us 1.5 months to achieve. So that may be the challenge that many governors have faced, that there's been bureaucracy that we have created in our government system, which is why we are a poor economy today, because of the bureaucracy. And so
this has impeded
it's
in some
impeded,
cases
but
the
I
response.
think we could have done much better.
A lot better.
We
In
could have
spite
done
of
much
all
better.
of this, there's
In
the
spite- in
possibility
sp-
for
it's-
some work to have been done.
Yeah, in spite of all
So-
this, and
so-
I think the lesson that governors need to have, my colleagues, some of them have, and my colleagues, is that we've reached a stage now where governors have to stop. And I mean, I shouldn't say this. We have to
But
stop
please
trusting.
say it.
We
No,
are-
please say it.
we-
I
we
think
are-
it's
we have to
necessary.
stop trusting the people we have around us, and we have to do some bit of micromanaging. You know,
You've got to ensure
we have
that
to
the
ensure
buck stops
things
with
that
you.
things are done. I mean, I wake up unannounced and I go to the hospitals wearing my mask and everything and walk around. I don't want to be told stories. We have to now start micromanaging
Manage.
when it comes to issues of a crisis nature like this one. I can't
Yeah.
be sitting and expecting reports. And so we have to get out of our comfort zone.
It is not just
Lazima tuachane na ukubwa. Let's go
Yes.
there. And it is not just in healthcare.
It is not just for governors.
Yes.
We have been saying this same thing about even the national government and the response for COVID-19.
Why
These are
do
matters
people
that
say
have
that
come.
Uhuru has really kind of failed in his agenda? He succeeded quite a bit, but one of the reasons he's failed is because he inherited a public service that is not his. And then he got into, and wacha tuongee ukweli, hii serikali ya Uhuru alipoingia ilikuwa ya nusu mkate kabisa. Walisikizana na Ruto wakaanza kugawana, wakisema hii corporation patia huyu wa Ruto, hii ministry patia huyu wa Ruto, hii patia wa Uhuru, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And shida zikaingia hapo and you know, and it felt like and I think, and I've heard this in circles and people complaining that what happened in the beginning is that Ruto, watu wake were all from one section of the country, the 50%, and then Uhuru had 50% watu wake, but he had to incorporate everybody else from the country.
To divide across.
And so you find that the loyalty problem started there. So impunity came back because you are not actually appointed based on merit. You are appointed according to a nusumkate arrangement within the Jubilee Party. And that is why people say
This affects how people then essentially do their jobs.
they do their jobs, and who do they answer to?
Right.
Yeah, you say yes sir to the president, and then you say yes sir to somebody else, or you say yes sir to somebody else and yes sir to the president. You know what I mean? So that affected it, and that is why people are saying that yes, Jubilee has led, but has Jubilee really done a splendid job as it should have done? I saw a joke the other day that's saying that the Jubilee government has been the most democratic and fair government in Kenya. And it is true.
You saw a joke the other day.
Where was that?
it's
That's a joke.
No.
That's a
no.
joke.
I'm,
That's sarcastic.
I'm not done with the joke. I'm not
Sarcastic
done with the
joke.
joke.
Oh, okay.
I'm not done with the joke. It's said
So-
that it's said that Jubilee government has been the fairest and the most democratic government in place, because whether you voted for it or you did not vote for it, you are suffering. So that's a joke, you know. So it is fair.
I'm
It is
with
fair.
you.
You know,
And I support
ulipigia
that.
kura, kupigia kura, bado unaumia. You know, so
ni kweli.
it has shared problems zimekuwa shared
Yeah,
across
yeah,
the board. Whether ulipigia kura, so unaona mmecheka kidogo. But anyway, but you see,
Nimecheka sana actually.
It's a good. So,
But see,
are you-
but
so
see,
is
the-
it fair? So
but
do you
Uhuru
agree?
Kenyatta meant well, and I know him, and I'm not just speaking about him because he's my friend, but I've listened to him, I've watched him as he talks. He gets very, very emotional. Uhuru Kenyatta gets extremely emotional about this country and about developing this country and about rolling back poverty. And so I listened to him, and he gets very emotional, and he talks about things that he needs to be done, and he sits in this meeting wanting to get these things done in public. Privately, I hear him is very consistent, and he gets very angry about things not happening. But he should have micromanaged more at the beginning. He trusted. Uhuru Kenyatta trusted the system, and I think the system let him down. But we saw him just before COVID happened, micromanaging, and now we see him trying to put his house in order because he was in the steering wheel, anaendesha gari na huko conductor anafanya vitu zingine. So now he's saying hapana, mi ndio naendesha gari, everybody has to follow what I'm saying. But it may be too
late.
It may be too little too late.
You know, I don't even think it's micromanaging, it's managing. Being an effective leader is being present. Do you agree that reopening, the responsibility falls on the counties? And have the counties put in place the health safeguards as well as the socio-economic? Because, you know, to what extent can we open? If we are to be real.
You see, if I was Uhuru Kenyatta, we advised him. And this is the advice we gave him. We told Uhuru Kenyatta that as governors, we are not really for the opening. As county governors, all of us are worried. Yesterday, I had a long telephone call with my Minister for Health. We are scared in Machakos. We are not even worried. We are now scared. Because we look at the numbers that are rising, especially in Mavoko area. That is Chokimau, Mlolongo at the river. The numbers are rising. Every day it's 20, 21, 22, 22, 30, 31 that are turning positive in our area. We're seeing our people are starting to die in Machakos. But you see, the thing is, it's in Mavoko area, the Nairobi metropolitan zone. When you cross the zone, when you go to Machakos town, you go to Mwala, Masinga, the cases are minuscule. They're hardly there even in some sub-counties. They're not there. Because the lockdown has really helped. In Machakos, we stopped trucks from stopping in Machakos.
Right.
You know, Peter. Ukiwa uko sawa, Peter, peleka mahali ingine. So I'm worried as a governor that when we open the lockdown, which is essential because of the economy, and I'll talk about the economy in a minute if you give me because it's part of the question, we are going to see now some bit of recklessness, and the diseases will now grow, which I'm very, very worried. My target is actually to have 970 beds, isolation beds. But now we need to move in and people need to isolate at home and treat people. So I'm worried about that. Counties are worried. So we told the president, we have to balance the economy, but we told him you can open some counties where there are no problems, movement can continue, but some counties that have problems, you may have to put restrictions on the movement. But we aptly told him not to relax the curfew. We say the curfew, let it stay.
The night curfew.
The night curfew, let it stay. We just feel that the night curfew has really helped because it is these social centers where people meet to drink and jive and have a good time. That's where the disease can really spread because, you know, alcohol is a relaxant and it relaxes your brain and relaxes the social distancing.
Easy.
So it becomes easy and everything, you know. And so we are very happy about that.
Disinhibitor.
But I like that, disinhibitor. But it only disinhibits what you have. So if you're an idiot, you become a better idiot. So if you're a good person, you become a better person. So we feel, and
that
this is my advice to the president is this, okay? He has to do a give and take. The economy is suffering. So you need to relax the economy. But unlike countries like Australia where they are flat in the curve, where kids have gone back to school, where nobody's wearing a mask, unlike countries like Canada, unlike countries like European nations where people obey the law, over here you pay 200 unavuka border. Unaelewa? Over here you do some things.
Australia is reversing.
New Zealand.
In some areas like Melbourne.
Completely. Melbourne. They want to stop. They've actually put barriers going into New South Wales.
Yes. But the difference is this. When they put those barriers, you'll not find anybody giving $100 or $50 to cross. People, here they are suggesting. But you see, this is where the president now needs to come in and say he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, or the defense forces rather. That includes the police.
So let's look at the 3 months.
He needs to say this. The president needs to say this, okay? I'm relaxing the borders for this, and this place. I'm relaxing this. But by golly, obey the law or suffer the consequences. The police, obey the law. Don't take bribes, suffer the consequences. If there's social distancing, let there be social distancing. If there's going to be curfew, let there be curfew. Curfew is 9 o'clock, is not 9:02.
Okay, fair enough.
We have to put our foot down if we have to flatten the curve in 2 months. Otherwise, by December, tutakuwa tunavaa mask.
Okay.
Nini, and it will be the same
Governor
problem.
Mutua, fair enough, right? But we also say willing buyer, willing seller. And we say it sounds great when you say put our foot down.
Yes.
But the person who comes with this 100, how did we know about this 200 shillings? Because somebody offered it and somebody took it.
Exactly.
Right?
It
So
is
if you
it is
say
it is
that
it
we
our
need to
society.
put our foot down
No, he
and
put the foot
something
down
needs
because
to be done. That means everybody across board, individuals,
Yes,
citizens,
you
as
and I,
well as
you
the
and I.
custodians of security,
Yes.
police forces, army, whatever it is, are they going to be able to take up that habit and say, okay, fine, we're not going to,
But
we're
you know,
not going to
but
take.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Society always pushes. You know, it's like I've watched elephants as they try to break out of a national park. They usually come and test the wire. Always, they know they're not supposed to. You know, they want that freedom to move.
Yep.
They test the wire. It's got electricity. They keep on testing. If they test one, the electricity is low. They're gonna push it until it falls down and they cross.
Yep.
The only reason a Mwananchi will give 200 shillings to a Kenyan cop is because they take it. But an American will not give money to an American cop because they know they won't take it. You know what I mean? So, if the cops stopped taking and anybody who gave a bribe to a cop got handcuffed, Kenyans will not take, will not give. And even Kenyans know huyu anachukwanga, huyu achukwangi.
So, Governor, theory aside,
Yes.
because where we are sitting right now, cops are taking.
Yes, they're
In
taking.
fact, this
Even
idea
now,
that there was a
Thika Road,
lockdown,
there's traffic on Thika Road this
people-
morning, but people are coming back into the metro.
people
on
have
paper.
today.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
people have been moving in and out, and in fact, some people don't move, but there are those who pay and move. So
Yes,
actually,
yes.
there's a lot of inequity. So, what do we do
It's
about
it's a
that?
poverty levels. You know.
It's not poverty because I think the people who bribe aren't necessarily poor. You know, I think we actually do a
Excellent.
No,
big
that's how I would
injustice.
say the poverty level.
Excellent.
If you have,
Excellent.
Our values-
I met somebody the other day, and not met him. We talked on the phone, and he wanted to meet me. I said, "But bro, you're in Kisumu. He's not in government. He's not in business."
Right. He said,
He
"No,
said, "But you're in
I'm
Kisumu."
here."
But he said, "No, but niko Nairobi." Sema, how did you come? Akisema, Kenya ukiwa na pesa hii, hakuna mahali huwezi enda. You
So-
know that attitude, eh?
so-
and that is true,
So,
and that's
Governor,
unfortunate.
in real terms,
Yes.
we are here. COVID is facing us, staring
Head
us
on.
in the face. The economy cannot remain shut because there are people who need to go out and work and need to work safely. Did governors do the public sensitization?
Yes, we did.
And are you doing it?
Yes.
Do you think it's enough? How do we deal with the social cultural? Because we also don't want militarization. We didn't like the force that was used by the police. I think it's something like 50 people have died due to the curfew, enforcement of curfew, human rights violations. You know, that is the other extreme that is really unacceptable.
Well,
So-
the president has to find a way. Because you look at the bigger picture, where will we be if we have a pandemic and people start dying on our doorsteps like they're doing in Brazil and Ecuador? You know what I mean? It's realistic. I mean, in Machakos, we got together what we call rules of engagement, and stage 1, stage 3. We have even in Machakos, and maybe I shouldn't say this on air, but we have identified mass graves and we haven't gazetted places for mass graves in case we get there. We don't want to get there, but we are prepared.
It's preparation.
Because
Yeah.
people are being buried. You bury your loved one, you see them for 30 seconds. You just see the casket. They are being put in a field. Next. In Brazil, it's a richer economy than we are, but that's what's happening. So we don't want to get there. So what you're calling militarization, what you're calling watu waweze kutii sheria, we may have to wait and say, okay, don't go beating people, but let the law be followed to the letter. We have to police the police. So you may have to put a team together,
Yep.
even if it says use the military police who are not in the police to police the regular police. You know what I mean?
What did you do in Machakos?
So that you can police the
What
police.
did you do in Machakos to build compliance? Because I think we want to say the last recourse should be the use of force. Already there's been use of force.
It's the use of force, but it's not even about use of force.
So
It
are
is
there
just-
any other options?
Just
About
it's
enforcement.
just ensuring that people, for example, very clear, curfew is at 9 o'clock. You don't need to use force. If somebody is driving around at 9:02, pull the car aside, tow it to a police station, hit them with a fine of 200,000 shillings. You'll get the car in December, even after they pay. Send them home. After a while, when you've got all these latecomers, all their cars are in police stations, cannot be released until 6
They'll stay
months
at home.
after COVID, everybody will stay at home.
I'll
If-
ask
break.
again.
You know what I mean?
Governor,
It
I'll
is
ask
about.
again.
It
I
is
want us to
about
take a quick break.
it
Let's
is
take a
about
quick
the compliance.
break.
Yes.
Governor Wanjiru, let's take a quick break at 27 minutes to 9. Let's take a look at weather and traffic in quick succession. And then we continue with the conversation with Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua, the governor of Machakos County. We are talking about county's preparedness for COVID-19. We are seeing a surge in numbers of COVID-19. And today is the day when the president is expected to announce whether to continue with the cessation of movement or to open up some of those restrictions. Good morning.
All right, we're going to see a high of 22 Nairobi, possibility of showers later on. And then in Nyeri this afternoon, highs of 21. Currently partly cloudy conditions at 15. In Nakuru, 22 the high with thunderstorms forecasted for the afternoon. Taking a look then into Eldoret, where at 19 degrees you'll see thunderstorms later on with lows of 12. And in Kisumu, mostly cloudy at 19, highs of 27. In Kakamega, where it's promising to be a rainy afternoon with highs of 24. Malindi at 26 degrees will be partly cloudy for most parts of today with highs of 28. Mombasa, highs of 29 with partly cloudy conditions through the day. All right, let's take a quick look into Kampala, where it's cloudy, highs of 25. And in Dar es Salaam, 31 the high. And finally, for now, in Lagos, 29 degrees the high with thunderstorms forecasted for the afternoon. Still pretty crazy on Mombasa Road today, and we're looking at a standstill all the way from right before the Mlolongo Way Bridge, and that takes us all the way down to Cabanas. That's going to be a mess for a while. There's a standstill on Uhuru Highway. It's not moving at all the way in both directions from Mombasa Road to Westlands. So it's Monday morning madness. Inbound on Thika Road as well is quite crazy. So we're looking at patients tapered with some not to be as relaxed as we hope, but you're going to have to apply some patience here today. Spice of MKE, let us know what it is that you see.
Our guest in the studio, Dr. Alfred Nganga Mutua, will be leaving us shortly. But what do you want to ask
There may be what have you done to ensure compliance in Machakos that we can learn from on the wider stage, and how are you dealing with the socio-economic impacts? They might not be as big in Machakos, but what
No,
again?
they're very big. They're
Yeah.
very big. What we've done is that in addition to educating our people, we have also been a bit strict, and this comes also to capacity, because when I became governor, I bought over 150 vehicles for police and inspectorate. So we've got vehicles that go around, my inspectorate vehicles, small saloon cars, patrol vehicles like they do. So what we've done is that we've placed those patrol cars across around our roads. So if a truck comes and stops, we are with it within 5 minutes. Why are you stopping here? Can you pass on? Can you move on away from Machakos? They're also moving around, ensuring that bars are closed. We did something that was very controversial. We stopped alcohol from being delivered in Machakos because we realized very quickly that the bars are closed. But every morning, these lorries from the alcohol factories are delivering crates and crates and crates every morning. Hii pombe kwani inaenda wapi? Kwani kuna mtu mwingine na we are exporting or somehow? Ama tuneka stock because people are entering from the back. So we crack the whip. I work very closely with the county administration, the national government administration, the county commissioner, Esther Maina. Wonderful, very, very hardworking lady, the police commander. I hold meetings with them basically weekly, where we discuss how to enforce and how to do things. So we're working as a team. So my county inspectorate and the police are now working as one team. So they're able to check each other and be able to move. And so we respond to things all the time. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. We respond to issues. So that's how we've been able to do it. But we can't do everything. You can't do everything. Uhuru's government needs to really crack the whip when it comes to security enforcement.
Suffice to say that this cannot happen in other counties because of a lack of will as opposed to a lack of resources?
That's a setup question.
Really? I'm asking.
No, I mean, I was asked about Machakos, so I'll talk about Machakos and what you're doing in Machakos. What others are doing, others may be doing better or worse. It's up to
But we're
them.
talking about a country. We're talking about a
mention the
complete
public.
country here.
I haven't heard you mention the public participation system. I haven't heard you talk about how is that working.
No, what we're doing is that the other thing that we've succeeded in Machakos is that we involved all our elected leaders. So we've had meetings with our elected members of parliament, including and then elected county assembly members. We have empowered our MCAs and our MPs. In Machakos, we are manufacturing masks. Our youth polytechnics are manufacturing masks. We are getting masks out at 25, 30, 50,000 a day. So we give them to our MCAs who now take them to the community, whereby as they hand them over with this system, we've got public address system where they tell them to comply and the dangers of the disease. So my Machakos MCAs, the leadership in Machakos, from the governor all the way down to MCAs, to our village administrators, they are busy and we're getting reports from the ground. So we're working as one team, and that has really helped. So we don't have infighting, we don't have political issues. We are saying these are disease. We fight this disease. Yeah, other things will
there's
come
something,
later.
Governor, that you mentioned, and
Yes.
you talked about the economy. And the other
Yes.
reality that we have now is lockdown of Nairobi County, the biggest economy in terms of the Nairobi metropolitan. This is the hub of the country's economy, has had an impact on very many people, at least
And
a
it's
million people.
not just Nairobi, it's all these things, that movement. But
all
also,
the urban areas.
the question is this.
So if we continue the lockdown in terms of restricting the movement, there are those that are arguing, if you open up the movement, I'm going to be able to go to my shags.
and take the disease.
Yes. Take the disease, yes, but also I'll be able to go and be able to live
life.
better, afford life
Yeah.
there. Assuming
You
that
you
I am
see-
negative of the disease.
you see-
How do you strike that balance? The president spoke about it. Lives and livelihoods.
It's the question we need to ask here. You know, you're asking, you're talking about a symptom. You know, let's talk about the cause of the disease. And I'm glad you're still employed, and I want you to continue being employed, Latif, because at the rate that media houses are firing everybody, you don't know whether
You don't
tomorrow
know, yes.
you'll have everything because they are responding to the economy.
Yep.
But the question is, why are we where we are? It's because, and I'll repeat something I've said here before, it's because we've had an economy that has been run with the wrong methodology. We choose our leaders the wrong way. And there's a young man who was walking me here who was asking me about opening up, you know, and kasema kuna shida, sema but nyinyi viongozi ndio mmeharibu Kenya. Nikasema lakini nani anapigia kura viongozi? Unajua, we choose our people. And you talked about me speaking many languages. I was talking about the tribal blocks that we've been put, where you're told you're a Kamba, you're a Luo, you're a Kiwi. You know, when I grew up in Kibera, when I grew up in Kawangware, in Satellite, you know, in a wooden shack, my neighbors were Luo, Luya, Kikuyu, Meru. We are all united in poverty. I never cared the kids I played with. It doesn't matter what tribe you are. But when it comes to politics, it's all about tribe. If today you hear there's an accident and your loved one, your mother or your father or your lover or your children or your brother or your sister amegongwa na gari, tumbo imepasuka, amekimbizwa hospitali, when you run to that hospital and you find them in a galley dying, and they say we need to rush him or her to theater, if the surgeon operates on him or her, atasurvive. Do you start asking, ngoja kidogo, huyo surgeon ni kabila gani? Ngoja, nataka tu surgeon wa Mjaluo kama mimi, nataka surgeon Mkikuyu kama mimi, nataka surgeon, you know what I mean? We don't care. But when it comes to politics, it's like mundu witu, mtu wangu, mundu wakwa, you know, we hithi kanye bika, duona kama unaongea lugha yangu, unaelewa? So we start getting back into the tribal cocoons which were put to us by the colonial powers. You know, they gave us physical freedom, but not mental freedom. We're still mentally colonized today into these cocoons of tribe.
But it's
and so
politicians.
Yes, but to see who elects the politicians and who perpetuates the politicians into power. And as a journalist, I can say that as journalists, we are greatly to blame. Look at the headlines today. the headlines and even the topics that are put in, the people put on the face are those tribal chieftains. We have bought into this. So, at times I laugh. You see editors so busy putting that personality who is leading a tribal block on the front page and headline, na huyo tribal huyo mtu yuko sawa, na huyu editor kesho anapatiwa pink slip, anaambiwa enda nyumbani, anakaa hapa nyumbani anaangalia na watoto, cannot even afford a newspaper that he was putting together, na huyu mtu alikuwa na support yuko sawa. His life or her life is continuing well. Even the law of self-preservation says, as media, we need to start talking about the leaders that people need to follow, the kind of leadership that needs to be followed, not the same tribal cocoons. Because at the end of the day, we suffer. Our people will follow what they are told to follow.
Governor,
you know what I mean?
I agree in part with that, but there was a question that we asked about the economy.
Yes.
What have you done in Machakos?
As I said,
to safeguard, and what lessons are there then in terms of
you see, Machakos, we've tried. I have brought in over close to now over 300 new factories have come to Machakos. I've created an environment because government cannot go setting up factories. That is an old-fashioned way of doing things. I'm a capitalist. Empower the private sector to grow and set up factories and let those factories be able to employ our people and let the private sector grow. That is how you grow an economy. That's what they did in Croatia. That's what they do in the US, in Australia, and other places. It's a private sector.
So have you had to institute safeguards? Because obviously some of these factories aren't operational now.
I have worked with the business community, and I've also looked at supporting small businesses because that's where the money is. We've had over 52,000 new businesses set up in Machakos. And we've looked at even the informal sector and what to do with them. We've revived the agricultural sector. Now even Machakos, as you know, we are no longer in the relief food, because once you feed people and they're okay, everything goes on. So we've done our share. But you see, Machakos cannot survive by itself. It needs to survive in a region called Kenya unless we declare our independence. So we've done what we can, but you get things are being sacked. I mean, my ambulances are serving other counties. My hospitals are serving other counties.
How has COVID affected those investments that you've made? Who are those vulnerable, and how are you safeguarding those vulnerable?
Actually, the most vulnerable people in Machakos currently are the people who live in the townships, if I can call them that. The people in the villages are okay, per se, because in terms of food, they are fine. We gave free seeds, we have tractors plowing, people thought it would not work, the boreholes we've dug, the dams we've dug, it's working. We have a surplus in our galas. I was getting a report yesterday. We can last for 7 months to 8 months, mostly in Machakos, in the villages. We have enough food. We don't want food relief. We don't need food relief because of the investments we've put in terms of agriculture.
So these people who are in urban
townships,
areas,
townships is a problem because of the jobs closing down, of factories and this social distancing and all that. So people are being laid off. But the bigger question is, why is it in our country?
How are you safeguarding those?
Let's go specifically now.
See,
in COVID-19,
all we can do,
to support.
But we are not seeing that really trickling down, and it can't. What we need is not just a fund. We need a system where you've got a social welfare cushioning system like they have in Canada, in Australia, in the US, in South Africa, where people can get unemployment benefits. That's a system that we should have put place a long time ago, where we can cushion the vulnerable. But also that requires an economy that is growing, not an economy that is deeply indebted. We need to be talking about money. And we need to have our headlines talking about money, not talking about which tribe is sitting at the table, wagawane keki. So we are bringing people to the table to share ideas,
this question,
but these
Governor,
people are being brought on tribal lines, not on what they can do.
You're going around this question.
Yes.
So let's go straight into the question. Do you have a number of people who are right now vulnerable and affected by COVID-19 who require government assistance? And what kind of assistance are you giving?
We have in Machakos 1,972 people who we've classified as vulnerable. We are feeding them. Because at the end of the day, it's about food. So you can stay home. You don't have to work. You don't have to drive. You don't have to do anything. But you can feed. You can feed. We are feeding them. I asked, and President Uhuru, I'm glad agreed, that we don't disconnect power from people. We don't. We allow people to operate without power being disconnected. But unfortunately, he said usikatia watu stima kama wajalipa bill, but majority of our people use that token.
Yep.
Sasa unajua what you should have said is that your 100 shillings should give you 500 shillings worth. And that's where it should be. Because Kenya Power has made enough money, it has money, we can give some, so there's more that could have been done. So what I can do in Machakos, the feeding we are doing in collaboration with the national government, is not enough in terms of giving people cushioning for money. But we've tried to get our markets to continue opening. We want circulation. We are supporting our construction industry to continue operating. So people are still working and money is still circulating. Shops are opening, because that's the only way growing the economy getting. But at the end of the day, as I leave, we'll have to ask the question of where are we going as a country? Are we going to suffer every time a calamity hits the world? Or do we want a government that thinks about economy? Do you want leadership that is economic, driven? Such that
feel you are actually that leader who can do all these things.
I feel and I know, because of my experience and with God's blessing, that it is time for us to look at leaders according to what they can do and the vision they have and the energy they have to work. And that is why you've given me the opening. That is why I'm running for president in 2022. And people ask me, Mutua, what is your tribal block? When the kingpin? I don't want to be the kingpin of the canvas. I don't want to be a village elder.
Your vote base?
I want my vote base to be the suffering Kenyan, who is the majority, the women, the young women and men who are unemployed, the mothers who don't have enough money in their pockets, the people who are being fired from their jobs regardless of their tribes. Those are the people. Mimi ni sauti ya wanyonge. The word hustler is not very good. We look at the dictionary definition. And so those are the people I want to represent in our country. The people who I'm saying I have the energy to lead, I have the foresight, I've been able to gather experience nationally and internationally and locally, working for President Kibaki, running a very successful government. I know what it takes. I'm young enough. I have the energy. Obama took over when he was 46, 42?
Governor.
JFK
Governor.
took over in 40s, Bill Clinton. We have the energy to do these things.
We have dynastic politics in Kenya.
Yes.
And we agree, and I think many people are fed up.
Yes.
But the reality is it takes money, and there are those, to be able to unseat this system.
Yes.
Now, what is the possibility of that happening if the opposition can't come together and give one candidate? Because you're declaring your candidacy. We also have another leader
and that is
who
okay.
has declared in the same area. So, practically speaking, to what extent do we expect to have a real a coalition of interest that will unseat? Because the problem, I think, is not just about leadership.
In terms of
it's
dynasties,
also a system.
But
versus everybody else.
But you see, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Let me make my question.
Yes.
There is a system that is very well entrenched that is designed to can
I cut you short because I disagree because what you're doing, you're poisoning the public and you are basically telling the people it doesn't matter what you do, there's already a system. Let's not tell our people. It's like telling our kids that it doesn't matter what you do, you can never be a doctor because of this, because you are born poor in the village. Let's not tell our people that there's a system. Let's tell our people there's a habit that we've had, but there's nothing that cannot be broken. I mean, people never thought that Moi would cease to be president.
Yes, but
you know what I mean?
The NAC coalition.
But that is where we are getting. That is where we are going. And it is good when many voices stand up and say, we are calling for this, because eventually it will come together. And it will come together. Let other people ask, but let the people select. There will be polls. And it will be very clear that among these people, this person is bankable beyond their tribe. Because even if every Kamba voted for me, and I did not get a Luo, a Kikuyu, a Meru, a Kipskiz, a Somali vote, I would never be president of this country. So you need a leader who, by themselves, can get support from other groups. The poor, the rich, the Kamba, the Kikuyu, the Luos. And then it will be very clear to us, all of us, that this is the person who the rest should back up to fight against the so-called system.
Excellency, how do you get people to change their way of thinking? Because what Wanjiru is saying is actually true in this sense.
People need to be fed up, and we need to get people to a point. And I like Wanjiru what you're saying. I like what you're
months,
We've got 2 years. It's a long time.
In 1992, when multi-party democracy came on board, it was widely conceived that Moi would go out. But what happened? The opposition fielded
fragmenting.
There was fragmentation.
There was a fragmentation.
Yes, and this continued in 97 again.
Let me give you some. Let me give you
2 elections for political leaders to say, okay, now we better come together so that we can have a new.
But in the last 2 elections, we've had coalitions. We've had the NASA coalition, the CORD coalition, and the Jubilee coalition as well. We are getting into that kind of politics.
Let me give you some sense of hope. Let me give you some hope. Let me give you some hope. I can inform you here today that Mutua is not working alone. I'm not working alone. I'm working with other leaders. We are biding our time. We have the aspects of a coalition going on. So when I say I'm running for president to win, is because I have other very, very senior leaders that we are working together to take over this country. While we are young and energetic, while we care about the economy and changing the fortunes of our people. So I want to tell the Kenyans who are listening that do not give up hope. Tuko na game, tuko na plan, tuko na pesa, tumejipanga, and you'll see it happen. But I want you to know that we cannot continue business as usual. Our children were not born to suffer. Why is it that a child in France is not walking around barefoot with no pants, and in Kenya they are doing the same? Yet we are a country with a lot of resources. Tumechoka kuenjoiwa, and we have to educate our people, but it has to start here. The media also have to support us, have to start giving voices to other voices, not to the same people, and perpetuating the same dynasties that you are talking against.
Very good point.
Because we are the one who are teaching the people.
We actually do support, but sometimes we have one difficulty. We can't tell the difference between the politicians. We actually can't.
But you can tell
What
the
do you
difference
stand
between me
for
and
that
others.
this
Yes,
other
yes,
one?
yes.
What do you stand for
That is very clear.
We
You
need
can
an
tell the
alternative
difference here.
So when we
narrative.
keep
Not only-
inviting
not
you,
only on
Governor
age,
Mutua,
but-
when we keep inviting you,
Yes.
keep coming to
I will
the show.
keep coming and we talk. And,
yes.
and congratulations. You're doing very well. This show is very, very popular. We hear it every time I come to this show. People talk about it and everything. And so keep on doing it. I want to encourage you. Let's change, what do you call it? We change the language. Let's
Change
the
the
narrative.
narrative.
Let's change the narrative. It's the word I was looking for. Kizungu ni ngumu, likuja na meli. Let's change the narrative. Let's empower our people to know they don't have to take it.
Agreed.
They don't be shafted on them. They don't have to take it. They can say no, tumechoka. They can empower their people. And it only takes a bit of a revolution to change this country, and that's what I'm going for.
Nice.
We are going to turn around the youth of this country who are the majority. They don't care about tribal blocks. They don't care about the history. They want money now. They want somebody who can take them from where they are to a sense of hope. And that is why I'm running for president, to tell them that we are not born to suffer. We were created by the same God who created the Croatians, who created the Americans, who created the British, the
And the
French, the
Mongolians.
Australians, the Mongolians, who created others who are doing better than us. We are not created by the devil. What we've done is that we vote like the devil. We vote for the wrong people. What in our parting shot?
Yes.
I was telling this young man who was complaining about leaders, nikamwambia, unajua, if you employ a house help, I'm just using a house help, by it's not, it's
For
example. If you employ a house help and huyu house help yuko hapo na huyu house help poisons your child, aseme by mistake, anapika vibaya akaeka dawa panya kidogo, by mistake mtoka akakufa. Alafu ukamfuta kazi, ukakasirika, and then you need a new house help, umezaa tena, unaenda unamlete huyo tena, alafu ana poison another mtoto tena, anaenda, alafu unaenda to the village whereby they don't know how to cook properly, unachukua dada yake ama ndugu yake unamlete, anaua mtoto wako wa 3. Mjinga ni nani? Shida iko wapi? Iko kwa house help ama iko kwako unayemwandika? Mwananchi, the voter, is the one who employs the leaders. And somebody once said that you get the leaders you deserve. So we have to tell our people to stop electing the wrong people. Because kama nimekupatia shamba ulime na hujalima, kwa nini kuandike kazi? So we have to educate our people about the qualities of a leader. We move it from politics to policy. What will this person do? And the question is this: some people wanting to be presidents, you ask them, you're in a very senior position. What will you do more that you've been unable to do in your current position? Because kama umeshindwa kufunga mabao,
how are you going to be able to do it on a grand scale?
Yeah, because kama umeshindwa kufunga mabao ukiwa junior league, ukiingia premier league hautaweza kufunga bao because you are tested by what you do. So
but
people want to be president, they want to be
policy
power.
positions, because there are things
Actually,
that are
I do have them.
We were
but
talking about
let me tell you, the last time I came here, I gave examples of some things I want to do.
Yeah.
The following 2 days, I saw another leader also running for president talk about my policies as if they were his policies. I went somewhere else. I had a speech about something I want to do. After about 1-2 days, I saw the same leader and another leader copy what I'm saying.
So
my strategy amesema, wait until you unveil your manifesto clearly, because every time you talk about something, wengine wanaangalia mtu amesema nini, inatokea. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
because of their networks in the media, they get highlighted. They look like they're the ones coming up with
ideas.
I've said it, and it was my idea. So I'm not going to be here to help others come up with strategies.
Asante sana. Yes. Governor, before you go, listen to today's proverb from C.T. Muga, and then we let you go.
Even if you dance for your enemy on the rock, he will accuse you of splashing water on him.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said. True. And maybe that's what Uhuru has found out.
Wow.
God bless you.
Asante sana. Alfred Mutua, Governor of Machakos County, thank you very much. God bless you as well.
Asante, and I ask your listeners to follow me on Twitter at Dr. Alfred Mutua, also on Facebook and also on Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the hope alive. And also, wanauliza ask and shall be given. So, kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu, ukiwa hapo kwa unyenyekevu mwingi na kuomba, I ask for your support as we get together to change this country as I run for president in 2022.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It's 9 o'clock. Good morning.